The Basie Band on tour, somewhere between, the heights of Montreux, all the way to Monterey and St. Paul and Minneapolis and Telemark in between. Butch Miles touring with the band, and Butch, it must be quite an experience for you to be in the Basie organization, and I wonder if you would just describe in, maybe 500 words or less, what that experience is.
It's fantastic. It's an experience unlike any other type of experience that I could relate. I really can't even give you a parallel. The best I could do would be to relate a story to you. A few years ago, a gentleman from my old hometown in West Virginia was doing an article on me for a newspaper, and he said, "What does it feel like to be the first white full-time drummer with the Basie Band?" I thought about that for a minute. I said, "Well, what do you think the first man who ever stepped on the moon felt like?" And all questions of race aside, what does it feel like just to be with the Basie organization? The same answer. What does it feel like? What do you think it felt like the first time a man set foot on the moon? It's just an incredible experience that is unlike anything else that I could relate to you. So therefore, I don't have any type of an example to give you. It's just it's totally beyond any type of comprehension.
How would you describe the pulse of the Basie Band? That pulse.
About 120/80.
And that's tempo to tachycardia.
Now the pulse has always been Count Basie, but the real underlying pulse has always, of course, been Freddie Green. That's the real pulse of the Basie Band. As other musicians will come and go from the band, but that overall sound that Basie likes, that overall feel that Basie gets, is a very special thing that is only Basie's, and it can only come to Basie and from Basie with Freddie Green. Without Freddie or without Basie, without either of the two of them, it's not the same. It's just not right. Therefore, something's lacking in the pulse. But that's what makes it up. I'd say it's a combination, Basie and Freddie.
How long did it take you to get acclimated?
Took me quite a while, because this band is a sensational band in phrasing. Their phrasing is very strange, and instead of, if I can give an example, instead of phrasing, for instance, the brass section, right on the time that the notes are written, specifically, they will take the entire phrase and maybe lay back a little bit, and then come out in time, in tempo, but they'll lay way back. Well, that had a tendency to drive me nuts, because if I would phrase with them, laying back, the tempo would drop. So there are many times when I have to just keep playing a straight-ahead rhythm and let the brass or the reeds phrase by themselves. I can't kick or play any of that, because if I did, first I'd be getting in their way. They're a voice all of themselves anyway. And secondly, the tempo would start getting fouled up, and my main job is to keep the tempo, keep the rhythm. You start to say tempo and rhythm together at the same time, it comes out thrum.
I understand. I remember someone describing the John Kirby Band saying, "There's the band with the bass beating behind to let the horns ride over." Would that describe this?
I would say that would be a very, very apt description. What we do in the rhythm section is about the same thing, except that we try to make the section very rock solid. We've got 4 rhythm instruments, and we're trying to play time. We're not concerned with playing off of each other. We're playing in tempo with each other, trying to put a big foundation down there so that the rest of the band can ride over top that foundation. They can either rise above it and go slightly in front of it, or they can lay back on it, whatever they want to do. It's the same idea. It's the same idea that Kirby had.
Butch Miles, thank you very much. I know you're ready to pack up and hit the road. Thanks for talking with us about your role in the Basie Band.
Thank you very much for asking me.